Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Sean from Nolts Power Equipment. We have two locations here in Pennsylvania, one in Shippensburg as well as our other location in Loysville. We are a Kioti dealer, so today we are going to take a walk around the CS2210. You clicked on this video, which means you've got some questions about some specs, some more in-depth information, so that is what we're going to do today. Let's take a look. Before we jump into some of the other specs and information on this machine, guys, let's take a look at the loader. It's the SL2410 loader, which is going to come standard on the CS2210, obviously, and the CS2510 as well. On the front, we have a 48-inch black bucket with the universal quick attach. Again, all of those features come standard. I mentioned the color of the bucket because one of the nifty features of Kioti is that we have the black bucket. So if you're looking at other orange tractors and you see an orange bucket, it's not a Kioti. One of the nice features that we like to highlight whenever we're talking about the loaders on these machines is the way that Kioti has run the hydraulic lines on the inside of the loader arms. You'll see here that we have either metal hydraulic lines or a very durable rubber hose. They're all neatly placed and tucked right inside the loader arm so that whenever you're operating your loader, there's not a great chance of those getting caught on something, not a great chance of them bursting. You're not going to have too many issues with those hydraulic lines because of the way Kioti has designed the loader. You see here on the side of the loader arms, we have the stands for whenever it's time to take off your loader. It allows the loader to stand on its own so that it makes it much easier to reinstall. If you're interested on how that process works, take a look at the video that we made on removing and reattaching the SL2410. The number that everybody wants to know, how much can this loader lift? The SL2410 has a lift capacity of 675 pounds. That is rated from Kioti at 6 feet in the air. So you can lift 675 pounds up to 6 feet in the air. Before we take a look under the hood, guys, really quick, let's talk about the hood. It is a plastic hood. Take that for what it's worth. A lot of the other Kioti machines are going to have a metal hood. However, on the CS series, it is plastic. Now, that is not an issue. Most of the time, we very rarely see somebody with the CS series tractors running into issues where they're dropping rocks or anything on their tractors. It tends to be more of a residential homeowner kind of machine, not a whole lot of crazy heavy lifting happening. But again, plastic hood, we don't want to dwell on it. Guys ask us that question, wanted to communicate. It is a plastic hood on the CS series. Take that for what it's worth. In order to access the engine compartment, if you're looking at the front of the tractor here on the right-hand side, a quick pull of a pin here, guys, and the hood opens right up. You notice it opens from the front. If you are somebody who has either had a tractor that opens from the rear or currently has one, you know how much of a pain in the neck that can be. Gives you access to things like the battery, your radiator screen, your air filter, your engine oil dipstick is right back here on the side that you can check easily. Let's talk about the engine really quick. It is a Daedong diesel engine. So from Kioti, Daedong is the parent company of Kioti. So they make their own engines. It's a 3-cylinder diesel engine, water cooled, that in the CS2210 series is going to produce 21 horsepower. It's the same engine that is going to be in the CS2220 tractor. The difference there is just going to be some comfort features, which we can talk about here in a second. But again, it is a Daedong 3-cylinder diesel water-cooled engine that's going to give you about 21 horsepower. All right, guys, so before we get into the operation of the tractor from the seat, let's take a quick look at some of the things that are going to be on the floor. So right here at your feet, guys, underneath the seat, you have your 4-wheel drive engagement lever, your 3-point lowering speed adjustment knob. Guys ask us about this sometimes, and what that's going to allow you to do is if you have, obviously all of your 3-point attachments aren't going to weigh the same, so if one of them is dropping faster than the other and you don't want it to slam onto the ground, you can adjust that lowering speed with that knob right there. You have your differential lock here to the left of the seat. And then as we make our way up here, we have our brake pedal. One of the things really quick, so your parking brake engagement is going to be right here kind of on the dash. For a guy that's built like me, it's kind of in a weird spot, so I usually will just use my foot. If you are not built like me and you can reach that with your hands, fantastic. It is one of the things that I think is kind of in a weird spot, so I have to use my feet. Speaking of our feet, we have twin hydrostatic pedals over here to the right-hand side. That's going to give you forward and reverse. We like the twin hydrostatic pedals as opposed to the treadle pedal, which you're going to see on some other brands of tractors that are this size. If you have the treadle pedal and you prefer it, do me a favor, comment below and tell me why you prefer it. Now that we are in the operator seat of the tractor, let's talk about a couple functions that we're going to have here. One of the first things you'll notice is that your loader control is up here mounted on the loader brackets themselves. Once we get into the CS2210 series, that's when you're going to have your loader control that is down here to the right. If we take a look at the dash, guys, you'll notice that the steering wheel is stationary. Again, once we get to the 2220, that's when we're going to get the tilt steering wheel. This one will not tilt for us. Here to the right, we have our throttle control lever. Our buttons over here for our lights, as well as our horn, can be found right here. And then our illuminated dash will show us things like our fuel gauge, our engine temperature gauge, and our tachometer. One of the other things that we will notice here, guys, is the ignition switch. Now, if you are on any of the Kioti tractor groups on Facebook, or you've read any of the online forums, there are some complaints out there about the placement of this ignition switch. It is in a prime spot for somebody, again, that is built like me, to take their knee and swipe it across there and break the key off in the ignition switch. So the question is asked, Kioti, why did you put it there? One of the nice things about it being there is that water is not going to sit in it and freeze and cause you issues. So unfortunately, at the moment, the best advice I have for you is just be careful. To the left of the seat, you're going to have your high and low hydrostatic range selector. One of the things I want to mention really quickly there is if you go and place the tractor in either high or low gear and you press your forward hydrostatic pedal and the tractor does not move, it is because something's not quite lined up and engaged properly. Sometimes you have to kind of feather your pedal a little bit and then you'll feel it engage. Happens a lot if you park your tractor on a slope or on a hill. The other selector over here, guys, is our PTO selector. There's a couple options on here. We can either run just the mid-mount PTO, we can run both the mid-mount and the rear PTO, or we can run just the rear PTO. Obviously, the rear PTO is going to be for if you're running a 3-point implement that has PTO capabilities. Obviously, the mid-mount PTO is going to be if you're running just a belly mower. The other thing to keep in mind is that that mid-mount PTO is what is going to also control any front-mounted snowblowers. And why would you maybe run both? One of the reasons that we have that for is so that if you are running a mid-mount mower and a bagger system off the back of the tractor, it allows you to be able to both run the mid-mount PTO and the rear PTO shaft. The other thing that we have over here on this side is the cutting height selection for our mower. Obviously, this does not matter much to us if we don't have a mower mounted like this machine, but in the event that we do, it allows us to select what we would like the cutting height to be. So to the right of the seat, guys, we have our PTO engagement lever. When it comes time to either turn on the rear PTO or your mid-mount mower deck, you just slap that forward. The other lever here on this side is our 3-point height selector that allows us to obviously raise and lower any 3-point attachments. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is that that is also going to be what you use to raise and lower your mower deck. The one nice feature is that you can, over here on the left-hand side, lock your mower deck in place so that whenever you have an attachment on the back and you want to raise and lower that, the deck will stay in its place. The flip side of that, though, is when you are using your mower deck, raising and lowering it, it is going to raise and lower your 3-point arms at the same time. So keep that in mind if you have any attachments hooked up while you're mowing your yard, that this 3-point control is also going to raise and lower the rear 3-point arms while it is raising and lowering your mower deck. One thing I did not talk about yet, guys, is the 3-point hitch. It is a category 1 3-point hitch. We have the backhoe on this specific tractor, so there's not a lot to show back there. Nothing crazy, nothing special, just a category 1 3-point hitch. It does have a lift capacity of right around 700 pounds. And one nice feature is that Kioti went ahead and put in a port back there that allows you to both check your transmission fluid as well as add some more transmission fluid in the event that you need it. Before we wrap up, I have a couple quick other specs that I cannot remember, so I wrote them down. Those of you that want to know some more in-depth, detailed information, here we go. So it is a 6.7 gallon fuel tank, which the access to that can be found over here to the right of the tractor. It has a max travel speed of 10.31 miles per hour. Let's talk PTO specs really quick here, guys. The CS2210 has a PTO horsepower of 18.6 horsepower. The rear PTO has an RPM rating of 540, which is normal on tractors this size. You'll notice really quick on the tachometer that there is a red dash right there at the 3200 engine RPM. So that 540 PTO RPM is whenever you have the engine RPMs at 3200. It has a mid-mount PTO RPM rating of 2,200 RPMs. Same thing with the rear PTO. That is whenever you are at that 3,200 engine RPM. The total length of the tractor, guys, now keep in mind really quick that on this number, Kioti does not account for the loader or any attachments on the rear of the machine. So a total length, not counting the loader, is 99.3 inches or just over 8 feet, with a wheelbase of 55.1 inches or just over 4.5 feet. It has a ground clearance of 6.4 inches. It has a hydraulic flow of 6.5 gallons per minute. Now, guys, I'm gonna give you some homework. Do me a favor, do some research, comment below if you can find another brand that in the same size tractor can offer 6.5 gallons per minute on their hydraulic flow. I can't. I'm interested to see if you can, but that is something that we're proud of with these Kioti machines. Total weight of the tractor, guys, and again, this is not accounting for the loader or liquid filled rear tires, which is what you'll get from us here at Nolt's if you buy a machine from us. So a total weight, just the tractor, no attachments, no loader, no weight in the tires, is 1,485 pounds. Now, the loader does come with a weight of about 750 pounds. So between the loader, the tractor, liquid filled rear tires, you're gonna be right about 1.5 tons. Guys, thanks for stopping in and taking a look at the CS2210 from Kioti with us. If you have some more questions for us that we did not answer in the video, do me a favor, comment those below. We will do what we can to get you some answers on these machines. If you're interested in pricing or purchasing a Kioti machine, give us a call, 717-423-6300. If you already own a Kioti machine and you need some parts or service, give us a call. Again, 717-423-6300. Make sure you subscribe. Guys, we'll see you next time. So we like the fact that this hood opens from the front. It gives us easy access to things like our battery, radiator screens, air filters. Your engine oil dipstick is here on the side. That's really been hot.
Hey, I wonder where the mics get to it.
It's like you ran the thing at full throttle the whole way out here. Speaking of at our feet, we have twin hydrostatic pedals over here on the right-hand side. That's gonna give you forward.
Keeping the same norms?
Huh? You're such a, you interrupted me for that?